5 more scary ghost stories to keep you awake at night. 1. Borley Rectory. Borley Rectory, often referred to as the most haunted house in England, was built in 1862 in the small village of Borley, Essex. The haunting reputation of Borley Rectory began shortly after it was constructed by Reverend Henry Bull. The Bull family reported hearing inexplicable footsteps echoing through the halls, mysterious whispers, and the sound of bells ringing despite being disconnected. One of the most famous and persistent apparitions was that of a nun, often seen wandering the gardens or staring out of windows. According to local legend, the nun was a young woman who fell in love with a monk from the nearby monastery. The two attempted to elope but were caught. The monk was executed, and the nun was bricked up alive within the monastery walls. It's said that her spirit still searches for her lost love, roaming the grounds for eternity. When Reverend Harry Bull, Henry's son, took over the rectory, the paranormal activity intensified. Family members and guests reported seeing ghostly figures, hearing voices calling their names, and experiencing objects moving on their own. One of the most chilling occurrences was the appearance of a ghostly coach driven by 2 headless horsemen that would ride through the grounds at night. In 1929, the property was leased to Reverend Lionel Foyster and his wife, Mary Ann. The haunting reached a new level of intensity during their time. Mary Ann was thrown from her bed, slapped by invisible hands, and had stones hurled at her. The walls of the rectory began to display mysterious writings, often in the form of pleas for help. Despite Reverend Foyster's attempts to perform exorcisms, the activity only worsened. In 1939, the rectory was severely damaged by a fire, and it was finally demolished in 1944. Despite this, reports of strange occurrences at the site continued. Ghost hunters and paranormal investigators have visited the grounds, with many experiencing feelings of unease, hearing disembodied voices, or capturing inexplicable photographs. The legend of Borley Rectory has persisted for decades, and it remains one of the most enigmatic and documented hauntings in the world, leaving a haunting legacy that echoes through the ages. 2. The Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, gained international fame as the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining, but its history of paranormal activity dates back long before that. The hotel was built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, an inventor and entrepreneur who intended the establishment to be a luxurious mountain retreat. Shortly after its opening, guests began reporting strange phenomena. One of the most frequently encountered spirits is that of Flora Stanley, Freeland's wife. Flora was a talented pianist, and to this day, guests and staff claim to hear the sounds of a piano playing late at night in the ballroom, even when it is empty. When they enter the room, the music stops, and there's no one to be seen. Another notable ghost is that of Freeland Oscar Stanley himself, who is often seen standing at the top of the grand staircase or wandering the lobby. Guests describe feeling a sudden chill or the sensation of being watched when they pass through these areas. Stanley's apparition has also been seen observing guests with a curious expression, as though he's still keeping a watchful eye on his beloved hotel. Room 217 is perhaps the most famous haunted location in the hotel. In 1911, housekeeper Elizabeth Wilson was seriously injured in an explosion while lighting lanterns in the room during a thunderstorm. She survived, but guests who stay in room 217 today often report strange occurrences. Items being moved, lights flickering, and even feeling an unseen presence lying down beside them in bed. The 4th floor is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Guests have reported hearing the laughter of children running up and down the hallways late at night, even when no children are staying in the hotel. The spirits of former employees and guests who once stayed at the hotel seem to linger, ensuring that the Stanley remains one of the most active paranormal sites in the United States. Stephen King himself experienced strange phenomena during his stay in 1974, which inspired the eerie setting of The Shining. Today, the Stanley Hotel continues to embrace its haunted history, offering ghost tours and welcoming those who dare to experience its paranormal activity firsthand. 3. The Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, stands as a testament to one woman's obsession with the supernatural. Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearm magnate William Wirt Winchester, began construction on the house in 1884. Following the death of her husband and infant daughter, Sarah sought guidance from a spiritual medium who told her that she was cursed by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. In an effort to appease these restless spirits, Sarah began a never-ending construction project that continued for 38 years until her death in 1922. The result is a sprawling mansion with over 160 rooms, staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open into walls, and windows built into the floors. Sarah believed that constantly changing and expanding the house would confuse the spirits and protect her from their wrath. Workers claimed that Sarah would hold nightly seances to receive instructions from the spirits on how to continue building the house. They reported hearing strange noises, feeling cold spots, and seeing shadowy figures in the corners of their vision. The construction crew was sworn to secrecy, and many refused to speak of the eerie occurrences that took place on the property. After Sarah's death, the mansion became known as the House of Spirits. Visitors report hearing footsteps echoing through the halls, doors slamming shut on their own, and seeing ghostly figures in Victorian clothing roaming the corridors. Some claim to have seen the apparition of Sarah Winchester herself, still wandering the house as if searching for something. The Winchester Mystery House remains a perplexing and fascinating monument to one woman's fear of the supernatural. It attracts thousands of visitors each year, many of whom leave with chilling stories of their own encounters with the unknown. 4. The Queen Mary. The RMS Queen Mary, a retired ocean liner now permanently docked in Long Beach, California, is considered one of the most haunted ships in the world. During its time as a luxury liner from 1936 to 1967, it transported thousands of passengers across the Atlantic. It also served as a troop ship during World War II, known as the Grey Ghost. One of the most infamous haunted areas is the ship's engine room, where a tragic accident claimed the life of an 18-year-old crewman named John Pedder. He was crushed by a heavy watertight door during a drill, and his spirit is said to still haunt the area. Visitors report hearing the sound of metal scraping, feeling cold spots, and seeing the apparition of a young man in a workman's outfit. The first-class swimming pool, though now empty, is another hotbed of paranormal activity. Guests and staff have reported seeing wet footprints mysteriously appear and hearing the sound of splashing water. The ghostly figures of women in 1930s-style bathing suits have been seen lounging by the pool, while others have witnessed the spirit of a little girl holding a teddy bear near the edge. In cabin B340, guests have experienced terrifying phenomena, such as the lights turning on and off by themselves, bed covers being pulled off, and the sensation of being pushed or touched by invisible hands. The cabin was closed for decades due to the intensity of the hauntings but has recently reopened to brave guests seeking to experience its eerie history firsthand. The Queen Mary continues to draw those fascinated by the paranormal, and its rich history, combined with countless reports of ghostly encounters, makes it one of the most haunted places in the world. 5. Leap Castle. Leap Castle in County Offaly, Ireland, is widely regarded as one of the most haunted castles in the world, with a dark and bloody history dating back to the 13th century. Built by the O'Bannon clan, it became the site of brutal power struggles and family feuds. One of the most notorious incidents occurred in what is now known as the Bloody Chapel. It's said that during a fierce battle for control, one brother plunged a sword into the other, killing him as he was praying at the altar. The castle's history is filled with tales of violence, murder, and betrayal, and it's no surprise that many restless spirits are said to roam the halls. The most feared spirit is known as the Elemental, a dark, shadowy figure with the stench of rotting flesh. It's believed to have been summoned by druids practicing dark magic long before the castle was built. The Priest's House is another location where many visitors have reported seeing ghostly figures, including a tall, imposing man believed to be the murdered brother from the Bloody Chapel incident. Strange lights, ghostly chants, and the eerie sound of footsteps are common experiences reported by those who visit the castle. In the early 1900s, workers discovered a hidden dungeon filled with human remains. The dungeon was designed to imprison and kill enemies by dropping them through a trapdoor onto wooden spikes. This gruesome discovery only added to the castle's reputation for being a place of death and suffering. Leap Castle continues to attract paranormal investigators, and its dark history combined with numerous accounts of ghostly encounters makes it one of the most terrifying haunted locations in the world. Conclusion. These 5 locations, Borley Rectory, the Stanley Hotel, the Winchester Mystery House, the Queen Mary, and Leap Castle, are each steeped in history and haunted by tragic tales of death, betrayal, and the unexplained. They stand as monuments to the mysteries of the supernatural, with each haunting experience offering a glimpse into a world beyond our understanding. Thank you for listening to these chilling stories. If you found this journey into the paranormal captivating, please like this video and subscribe for more tales of the haunted and the unknown.